Hello, welcome everyone. Happy belated Yule and Winter Solstice. I'm Amy, the Mystic Rose Tarot. So I am delayed by a few days for getting this meditative reading for the months of January, February, and March, which represent the winter season. So I've been doing this for the past almost a year now. I go through the Sabbats, the greater Sabbats and the lesser Sabbats. The lesser Sabbats are the cross quarters, such as Samhain, um, Lunisad, which is in August. Samhain's the end of August. Those Beltane, those seasons in particular represent the in-between, the transition of that time. So for instance, with Samhain, it's the transitional period from the fall to winter. It's right in between. So those are cross-quarter lesser Sabbats. So they're lesser Sabbats because they're not actually equinoxes or solstice dates, but they represent the energy of what's going on in between those seasons. So the focus here for this reading is on winter for those upcoming months. Now, I put astrology into this. So for January is the month, in my eyes, January is the month of Capricorn. It holds most of that energy for that month of January. Then, of course, the later part of January, we move into Aquarius. But what I've done with this reading is, so January, and I'll explain it when I do explain the reading here. January will be for Capricorn, the energy that will be influenced for that month of Capricorn for January. February will be Aquarius and the energies that will go into that. And then for March is Pisces, which rounds out the astrological year and the astrological wheel. And then after Pisces, we go into Aries, and that will be a separate episode for the spring Ostara equinox. So that'll be the later part of March. But let's go to the reading, and then I'll leave a few other announcements towards the end, if I remember. I have a lot of cards here. Not a lot, but I have quite a bit to say with each of the readings. So what I've done is, for this reading specifically, I pulled one oracle card to represent the month of January, and then another card for February and March. So the deck that I'm working with, the oracle deck I'm working with to represent the key energy and influences, is the Witch's Oracle by Sally Morningstar. And this is the deck that I'll be working with for all my Wheel of the Year readings. So these are, I consider the oracle card as a major arcana. It's like the one force of energy to really spend time with. And then I pulled two other cards as they're mixed. There's major arcana, minor arcana, but these are the guides. These are the energy direction that you should take for each of these coming months, for January Capricorn, February Aquarius, March and Pisces. So I hope that makes sense. So it's brief, but I pull so much information when I do cards. I'm not going to say I pull one card and I can get everything I need to know about the month of September. This is all intuitive. This is all energy influence. So it's what I feel and what the guides from these two decks are helping me to better associate for each month. The other deck that I'm working with is the Wildwood Tarot. So the two cards that I pulled will be coming from the Wildwood Tarot. So our oracle deck, our key force, will be from the Witch's Oracle, and then the Wildwood Tarot, the two cards I pulled, will represent the direction, how to move with that energy for that month. Also, with my discussion that I had with Sadhna, a little bit towards the tail end, I said something that when I said it, it's something that just clicked with me, and I'll see about applying this when sharing this reading with you. I have mentioned in the discussion I had with Sadhna for our Yule live, I mentioned the energy of the right hand and the left hand. So the right hand is the initiator. This is my right hand here. The right hand is the initiating. It's the action. It's how you move. The left hand is the receiving. It's the listening. It's the understanding. It's two different forces. The right hand is normally associated with masculine energy. I know there are people who are either left-handed or right-handed, or they're ambidextrous. But when I mentioned the left hand and the right hand with the reading that we were sharing, it's something that came to me and something that I want to pay attention to. So when I share this reading, if I feel called to it, I may make mention of the energy of maybe emphasizing more action. But the cards here, when I pulled the cards, I feel the action is pretty clear. There is one card towards the tail end that emphasizes emotion of action with one of the hands, and we'll get to that later on. Okay, so here we go. So for the month of January, okay, this is Yule, winter solstice. Winter solstice, before I jump into January. Winter is a time that I think a lot of people, because of the weather, it's cooler, colder, get snow, and we tend to be more hibernating at this time. But the winter season energy is actually, we're now waxing. What I mean by waxing is we're slowly, and that's why January, February, March is very important. We're slowly building up this energy, because on the day of the winter solstice, that was the shortest day of the year, longest night of the year. But in the coming months, January, February, March, we're going to start gaining light. We'll probably see it more come January. So anyone who is watching this video and they have plans for changes, empowerment, bringing in more power, more confidence into yourself, work with the energy of the season as light is gaining, and it's becoming more powerful. Now, it's kind of hard for some people because the weather can be very influential on people, and it's really hard to build up that energy to go out when it's cold. But for me, winter months are very strong for me because of it. It's cold and I can't sit still. I need to keep active. If I don't keep active, things become stagnant. So I feel the winter months are my strongest months for me, as opposed to the summer. While the summer is just a little bit more laid back, a little bit more slower energy. And that also applies to my practice. The summer months, my spiritual energy is there, my intuitive is there, but it's not as powerful. I feel I have to work harder in the summer months to get this energy. But I could still do readings, it's just different. Okay, January, Capricorn, here we go. So the cards that I pulled for you, first card that I pulled, again, this is our key guide, this is from the Witch's Oracle. So this is the broomstick, and we have the word below for cleansing. And I think this is actually a perfect card considering for the month of January, but also we have to take into consideration the energy of Capricorn. Capricorn is and I'm not going to go astrological with this reading. Capricorn is a planet, or is a sign that's ruled by the planet Saturn. So Saturn's all about time, discipline, order, structure, but how we do these actions. For Capricorn, that's the influence. And I feel for the month of January, this card of cleansing for Capricorn, just specifically if you want to use the influence of Capricorn, would be good to really look, almost like to do a deep cleanse of what really needs to be released in your life. Okay. We hear this term, we're at the start of the new year. We want things from the past to be done with. It's karma. Let's let go of it. Let's move forward. This is the energy that we have here. But what's important too is with this card, it does involve banishing, but you also have to be mindful how you use this energy. We can't be reckless with, throwing everything away. There is some importance to some things. So with this cleansing aspect of this card, you're going to feel things from a intuitive sense, like, okay, this feels natural to, to go ahead and move this. But also rationally, we're dealing with the conscious and the subconscious energy, the heart and the mind, how we are feeling what we're removing. Is it something that we will need, or is it something that you feel that you no longer need? So it's meshing that understanding. And when you're thinking about this and you're looking at everything that needs to be let go of, you start getting this sense of confidence, knowing that once you get rid of this, it's going to be good. It's going to work for you. And and it's just moving this energy. Okay, Capricorn it's Saturn's ruled by the element of earth, so it can be very heavy, it can be very dense. So we have to be careful during this time for January, Capricorn, not to be so heavy. Remember, we want to move with the energy of the season. Let's build up this momentum to really kick yourself, if you will. It's like, okay, I need to take care of this. I need to release things that are no longer of importance for me. The motivating factor is creating space and manifesting positive forces, internally and externally, to explore something different, possibly deepen an existing relationship, personally, work-wise, so on and so forth. But during this time, remain dedicated. Don't get sidetracked or anything, and fully support the shifts that you are seeing at this time. Move through it. Don't back away. Don't second guess it. Keep moving forward. As many of you know, I don't edit my videos, so I just put some food on, and it sounds like I have the heat on for too much. So let me lower it down, and then I'm going to finish the two cards that I have here for the month of January. Alrighty. Okay, so that key action again for a month of Capricorn is of cleansing. Internally, but also all those shifts that are going on inside will manifest on the outside. So the changes that you're releasing inside will start revealing itself. You'll be a little lighter in the sense energy. You won't feel so heavy, but that's the challenge again for that month of Capricorn in January. Let's try not to be so heavy. Let's increase this energy. Okay, so the other two cards that I have here is first card I pulled. This is the Wildwood Tarot. Sorry for this reflection here. There you go. So as you can see, it's the King of Arrows, the Kingfisher. Okay. So how these cards, this card and the other card that I will be pulling next together, they're very strong guides. And so keep in mind, we're looking at self-cleansing and healing inside, just so we can make space to open up for something new. But with the Kingfisher, this is in this process of release, it's also using discernment, okay? Carefully making choices that are being made. So remember what I was saying with the broomstick for cleansing? Don't go crazy and just start getting rid of everything, just really, really be mindful. Be discriminatory as to what you need to let go of, okay? This card also represents seeing both sides of a situation, being fair about it and making clear, rational decisions. But this is all based on your knowledge and understanding of the situation of what's going on. So don't be so reactionary during the month of January. Let's be mindful. So this is where maybe that Capricorn energy can play a role here. Just kind of slow down the way that you're moving things, but also be discerning with what needs to be taken care of. And we want to see things beyond the surface. The Kingfisher is air and water. It is a bird. It is ruled by the element of air, but it also sees things underwater. So it really wants to, the energy of the Kingfisher is a reminder of looking at things below the surface, not what we see here up front, but looking at the underlying issue, the underlying influence of what could be causing an imbalance of sorts. This card is represented by having a good sense of judgment and not saying that, be a little bit more intellectual, really look at things carefully. The key thing that you can ask yourself with this card is, how can I find the core root of truth in a situation? Okay. So again, we are looking during this cleansing time for the month of January, what is it? What do I really need to really focus on so I can, banish or lessen this energy? And so that's going to be a challenge because there may be different influences coming in, but at the same point, you need to prioritize. This is one thing that's common when it comes to people who do readings, or for people who are receiving readings. They get so much information. There's like, oh, I have this going on, this going on, this going on. If you sit with yourself, okay, be still. And this doesn't happen in a matter of, a few minutes. This can actually take a few days. Settle down and you'll start seeing what actually ends up being the priority that needs to be worked on. So that's one way of approaching the situation for the month of January in Capricorn, giving that self-discipline, slowing down, but still making steps in making these changes. The next card that I have here So this is our Ace of Vessels, Ace of Water, the King of Arrows. I forgot to mention is ruled by the element of air. So here are the vessels, the cups. I read this as more of wisdom that heals. And that wisdom, that understanding, that knowledge that we gain from an experience. So again, tying this reading in for the month of January, the cleansing, the releasing, making choices, being discerning, being discriminatory, being mindful of how we're doing these releases. Once we start seeing things being let go of and things are shifting, we're starting to see things. We're starting to get this understanding. We're starting to build a connection to what will be revealed to us in this process. When you're cleaning the cobwebs, okay, and you're really being honest with yourself, you'll be surprised what you didn't know of yourself, your potential. Again, this is all of finding that inner strength, that inner courage to move forward, to move ahead. So with the Ace of Vessels, it's the waters of life. It is keeping the clarity and health of our emotions in balance alongside the challenges of everyday life. Okay, so we want to keep our environment healthy, pure, and I know that's like reaching for, reaching high for something that for many people it's very hard to have this kind of scene, this kind of environment in their lives. But there are ways that you can create an environment that gives you this feeling of stillness, of serenity, and emotionally how you can feel. So in doing this, by creating such an environment, we do get that stillness, and that stillness is what's needed for healing. Okay, it allows the heart and the mind to rejuvenate, to really relax, the heart to truly breathe and not feel overwhelmed. And in doing so, by having this moment, when you look at this card, it's very healing. It's very soft. And this will allow the individual self to become more compassionate and mindful of your own self, but also to others. Okay, once you have this connection of like, contentment, and feel like things are starting to shift, but you're feeling good with it, you're being aware of who you are and what's going on. And that influence that you're feeling, as I mentioned earlier, the changes that are going on inside of you will be reflected outwards. Okay. And that will influence people when they see you. They're like, wow, something different about you. Your energy is different. So that's where the whole process of cleansing and cleaning, we're cleaning inside and out. Some people say that they feel better when they do something different. They cut their hair, they change the color, they change their wardrobe. And so for some people, they start from the outside, so that they can start feeling better from the inside. But when I hear that kind of action that's being done from the outside in, I still feel personally that shift is coming from inside, because there's something that drove you, something from within that drove you to like, I want to change. I want to move. I want to be in a different relationship. Something inside here just clicked. And so you start doing things. So you have that understanding, you have that awareness. Okay. So that's our month of January for Capricorn. So putting some discipline into the situation, but also, don't rush into it, spend the time that is needed. But if you can do it, if you can give yourself this time frame for the month of January, not prolong it, that gives you that dedication and that self-discipline to like, okay, I'm going to do this for the month of December, or I'm sorry, for the month of January, and be fully dedicated to this. Watch out for any distractions. If you feel there's some distractions that can pull you away, maybe just say to some individuals, hey, I'm taking care of some things on my own, so I'm going to shut down for a little bit and, take care of yourself. I'm starting to hear the word a little bit more and more from people, self-care, taking that time off. That's something that I am truly looking forward to this weekend, because I have not been having much time to myself. So this weekend will be nice, this Christmas weekend. Okay, so that's January. So let's go into February. I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker. About 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes on each card I want to try and do. So for February, we are ruled by the sign of Aquarius. Okay, so for the month of February in Aquarius, we're in the mid part of our winter journey through this wheel of the year. So this is the peak of winter, okay, season-wise. But February 1st is Imbolc, Imbolc. You don't pronounce the C. Some people go Imbolc, but it's Imbolc. The C is silent. That is actually traditionally in the wheel of the year is considered to be the first day of spring, in the sense that we start seeing come February that our days are longer. Weather-wise, temperature-wise, it is still pretty much winter. If you're in the southern hemisphere, you're feeling the peak of summer. The heat is very strong depending where you are. Australia, hopefully their summer will not be so brutal, so minimal wildfires or none, bushfires. But with the month of February, with that gaining of the light, Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius is the sign of the humanitarian, the visionary, the individual, the energy that sees things differently and believes in what they see. Their perspective is law, but to them. Other people may not agree or fully understand some of the perspectives of the Aquarius way of doing things, but there's a reason for it. But again, I will not go astrological on you for this reading. So the card that I pulled for February, the month of Aquarius, keep in mind, it's also a form of being the healer, because Aquarius is ruled by the major arcana card of the star. So the star is, when you look at it, we see the different incarnations of the star, where we see an individual with one foot, maybe the hand touching water, but the other part of the body is still on the terrain. It's still on Earth. So it's taking in, the Aquarius is seen as the water barrier. So it's using this healing aspect of water, of emotions, of feeling, but putting it out more in a broader sense, sharing its ideas, its perspective, but to a larger universal conscious self. So here very interesting too, the card that I pulled, I got the crystal ball, insight. And as you look closely, we got the owl there for knowledge and wisdom. And if you look at the bottom, the tree stump, we see some symbols, astrological symbols, relating to Mercury, the moon, Venus, and the sun. Oh, okay, let's see how I can do this. So right here, I believe this is the sun, Venus, the moon, Mercury. I don't know what this is here. But these are the connections, the energy that is influential for us, and that we can apply when it comes to finding that insight. Now, you don't literally have to get a broomstick, okay? You don't literally have to buy a crystal ball or use a crystal ball for this. So the crystal ball is just paying attention to our intuitive, our insights, what we're seeing, what's coming in from the influences outside and how it's influencing us. It's looking beyond what we think is real, but it isn't. We're avoiding distractions. And so by going beyond this realm, it's almost similar to the king of arrows here with the kingfisher, is we're looking underneath, okay? But what we're doing here is we're paying attention more at an intuitive level. The emotions are part of our intuitive self, but we're listening more to the spiritual side of our instincts. And by avoiding all these distractions or anything that may be a question to us, if we look beyond it, we have to see the potential that we have. So again, it's going back to the cleaning of ourselves, getting down to what's really there. And once we find that potential, once we feel this calling, and we understand its importance, we can make this a reality. And you may start thinking, well, how would I know that? You will know it, okay? You get that aha moment. And it may take time. I know this is a reading just for the month of February, but this is the time for that month after January, Capricorn, revelation of cleaning your insides, if you will, spiritual insides, and healing. You'll start seeing things. You'll start feeling things, and so that's really important with this month of February for the Aquarius, is trusting yourself, trusting your spiritual self. And that aha moment is that moment when something clicks. And that for me is a spiritual form of awareness. Like, yes, this feels so right. Okay. Now, there are times when you feel like you made a choice, you followed instinctually, and you felt beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's like, this is it. And it didn't turn out the way that it did. Okay. There's no reason to be hard on yourself about that. Okay. That's an example of an illusion, fooling ourselves. Oops. That's an example of, tricking ourselves. We become emotionally so overwhelmed that maybe we don't see things fully. And you're letting your emotions run ahead of the thoughts. So we have to be careful with that. But putting that trust in your in your divine self, in your spiritual self, is the key focus here, okay? And then, of course, we'll get the wisdom, we'll get the understanding, we'll get the knowledge that's needed. I keep looking to make sure that there isn't this reflection. There we go. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so the two cards I have here of influence for the month of February. This is interesting. The first card that I pulled, and this is associated, if you want to, for the Rider-Waite-Smith system, is I got the Ancestor card. This is associated with the Hierophant. Let's see here. Let me move this light here. One sec. Okay. We'll put it right there in the circle. So what I got here is the Ancestor card. But it came up reversed. So with a card like this is dealing with our spiritual influences of our past. There are people who work exclusively with ancestry energy. And these are guides that we look up to. This could be family influences, people who have passed on, forces of that really influenced you and shaped you. But here with the reverse, remember, we're focusing on insight. There's something that we missed. Okay, remember that what I was saying is that we can emotionally get overwhelmed and follow too much with our heart, but not really fully listening to our intellectual self. So here is either a reluctance or not really clearly paying attention to what's actually going on. There could be a sense of apprehension that is holding back your subconscious self from trusting its own instincts. There's just some fear. There's just like, oh, I don't know if I should really go there. Just go there. Remember what I was saying with the crystal ball card? Trust your inner self. Okay. And by second guessing yourself, you're allowing that energy of fear, apprehension to overtake that, and that's going to cause stagnicity. Okay. It's also an opportunity of knowledge that is waiting for you, and you may not see it fully. So it is important to continue on your journey, on your path, to discover what guidance will be assisting you in your personal growth. So that apprehension of moving ahead, not really paying attention to our calling, whether it's ancestors or something else, you're not allowing yourself to move in the direction of, attaining a goal that you want to go to. We need to finish and continue moving on what's there waiting for us. Okay. That fear, apprehension, uncertainty will only hold us back. And so it's interesting that the Ancestor card came up reversed. So to kind of counter the reversal of this card is just trust your inner guide. What I said a few minutes ago, just go there. And trust that if you do call upon your ancestors, God, goddesses, whatever energy force, don't second guess it in the sense, because that's also showing a form of disrespect to that energy force, but also a form of disrespect to you when you really think about it. So just move with it, and just trust that whatever choices are being called to you, that you are moving to, it will lead you on the right path. All right, so the next card that I got here, and this is a very strong card, is the Archer. Okay, now this Archer here, the 7 card is normally associated with the Chariot, sign of Cancer, but we do have two wolves, it looks, on either side, but here we're seeing the Archer taking control, taking charge. So this is a very powerful sign and influence of this card when it comes to maybe having a block, and just really getting down to understanding that potential. Because here, the Archer sees it. The Archer goes, I see something. I feel it. There's the potential right there. And the Archer is right there focused on it. It's about taking action and initiating a direct focus towards that desired goal. And this is one of my favorite cards because it is so focused. Person is grounded, using some wood there for extra support, stability. It has the support behind him of these 2 wolves, canines. Dogs, canines, are wolves. Specifically show a form of loyalty. So confidence and willpower is what we get here from the Archer. And it's very strong. It allows you to assess all the possibilities and what is needed to complete this. And because of this energy, be creative and imaginative in your efforts towards getting that goal, achieving what you want to be, because this will actually fuel you in the steps to, reaching that particular goal. It increases your efforts. It gets you more excited. So try and find things in a different perspective. That makes it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more exciting, with this energy of the Archer for assessing the situation and taking that action, remaining focused. Okay, so that's February, Aquarius. So we can use that influence of making change, but we're taking it in a different perspective. We're seeing this card of the Archer, the card of the Ancestor reverse, the insight influence from this oracle card. They all come in together. It's how we use the energy, and being direct with it, and being taking steps forward, making that effort. It's very important. So that's for February, Aquarius. Be that visionary, but again, don't self-deceive yourself. If something is so exciting, something seems too good to be true, that could be a sign. So if something feels very, very appealing, very attractive to you, just kind of take a moment, stop, and just kind of look, at what's going on. Is this something that's going to put you in the right direction? Or is it going to steer you away? So again, with that Ancestor card of your guides, don't second guess. Don't put any fear into what they have to say. Okay, so that may come across in February. So if you feel like there is a questioning of the guides that you work with, reconnect and see what's going on, because that means that there's a shift going on inside of you that needs to be addressed. Fear, uncertainty. So we have to discover what that issue is. Okay, for the month of March in Pisces, so we're now heading towards the end of winter. And so we're seeing the culminating result of our journey from the beginning of our winter to the end. So I'm editing something right here. Okay, perfect. So this particular month, the cards that I pulled were they spoke to me at a personal level a little bit more. The first card I got is the Neophyte. Now here, this is something interesting. Okay, and I'll point it out to you with another card. So here we have the Neophyte. We have the Seeker. We see the person who's fully dedicated in their soul search, on their journey. I mean, this is a very potent card, that the person's sitting in front of a mirror, looking at themselves. Okay, so remember our energy here of the crystal ball. We put these two together here. Oh, whatever, with the ring light. If we put these two together, there we go. I'll put the ring light effect right over the crystal ball. We start seeing this. We start seeing the result from this card, and we're putting it into action. Now, also, look what we have here. We have the eagle. The eagle is another form of wisdom and knowledge. So we're taking the insight and the guidance of the owl, and we're turning that understanding with wisdom. Things are starting to happen. Things are starting to fall into place. It's like the spiritual, intellectual side. It's like, yes, now I understand. This is the seeker. This is the one who is exploring the deeper spiritual realms of their inner self, but also its relationship to the conscious realm, our outside world. So things that we're feeling inside, when you're on a spiritual journey, everything is moving around, and you're going with it. But while these things are shifting, and as you're building a better relationship or a better understanding of yourself, you're going to start seeing things differently. Okay. And that's what I mentioned earlier. Anything that's going on, that cleansing, whatnot, once it's been taken care of, removed, and you have this space, you start seeing things externally in a different way. And it's through the eyes of the seeker, that we can focus on achieving this higher knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding. But it's a slow process. Okay, so the month of March is ruled by the sign of Pisces. So Pisces, this card actually falls in very nicely with Pisces energy, which is of the subconscious. Pisces is one of these signs that really knows the realm of the subconscious. Not everyone can go to that place as well as Pisces. But the thing with that is, as comfortable and as nurturing and as healing that it is for Pisces, it can also be a place where, remember I was saying, you don't want to fool yourself. You do need to come out. You have to explore and connect to the conscious side, because if you live in this realm of non-reality, you're missing out. There's a disconnection that happens, and the sense of understanding of what's going on the outer realm becomes blurred. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't make sense. So it's really important that while you're going through this exploration here, okay, that you also remain connected to what's going on outside. Apply anything that you're feeling that's changing inside of you. Do it in your everyday life, okay? It's going to be something completely different. You're going to sort of feel like you're an outsider. Well, you're inside, but you're looking outside of the world in a different way. It's like you're coming out of your body, and you're exploring things around you. So the way an area looked once before may look different. Any apprehension, any anger, any negative energy you have about a certain situation is going to change. It's going to shift because you have that understanding that it's not all that bad and it's not all that great. It just is what it is. So another thing I want to point out is with the neophyte, and this being representing the ending point of the winter season, this is also where you could start calling in the ancestor. Okay, so we could turn this energy right side up because you're getting this spiritual awakening. You're starting to get this understanding of what's going on, and you can now connect to your guides and listen to what they have to say. You know, there's a message that's out there, and we have to pay attention to it. And also, as I mentioned, express the experiences that you're having and share it with others. And in turn, by expressing this and talking to people and getting feedback, you may actually find a mentor or someone who is influential, who can maybe guide you towards a better understanding or a deeper understanding of yourself and the process of growth. This person could be someone who's already gone through this, and it's someone that you can talk to and get some direction from this person. It doesn't literally have to be a mentor or a guru or anything, but it could be just someone who's gone through the path and someone that you can comfortably speak with. Okay, so that's the neophyte. The next card that I pulled here is the Three of Bows. The bows is associated with fire. Okay, so remember our archer here? Okay, dedicated, focused. Here with the Three of Bows, this is the part of the journey where the soul is enriched. It is feeling full. Now also look here. Okay, we could say this is the archer, but the bow is put down. The bow is actually in the right hand. Remember, I talked about the right hand being the masculine force of energy, the initiator. Now the left hand is up, the left hand of receiving. So action has already been taken. Okay, it's 3, so it's already been initiated. It's already been put out. And now it's just waiting to see what's going to happen. The fulfillment. Making those steps towards a new sense of security, willpower, and confidence, because we are making those steps. We are taking that action for that desired goal. Okay, so remember when we start feeling this stirring that's going on inside and it feels so right, it's like, yeah, we got to do this. This is perfect. The key energy of this card, the Three of Bows, is of inner focus and balance and manifesting a successful, if you want to say successful, but the outcome that you ideally would like to have. Okay. And this result can be of inspiration to those who see the efforts that you've been making. And not everyone's going to, like what you see, but for someone who is in a point where they need to have change in their life, you could be this person, you could be this influence to other people. And in turn, they'll be like, wow, I like what's going on with this person. Maybe this is something that I should look into. And then in turn, they can potentially follow a very similar experience here within their own life. The enrichment, the confidence, the security towards something that they want to have for themselves. So that is our Three of Bows. Okay, and that's again associated with fire. The last card that I have here. Okay, so we got all the elements. We started off with the King of Arrows for air, Ace of Vessels for water. Then we got the two major arcana cards of the Archer and the Ancestor. And then we got bows, so we got fire. And then the last, actually almost in the same order of the elements, the last card that we got to close this month of, for the month of March for Pisces is the Ace of Stones. This is the foundation of life. And so here, you now have a place after going through all the actions and whatnot. You now have a place of where all your thoughts, concepts, ideas can now be placed as a basis for them to be released into the real conscious realm, for them to be seen. So you're processing all of these thoughts and ideas that you have, but you're making them happen. You're manifesting them. The stone represents our external conscious. The self, and revealing what is being manifested within. So this can focus. Hang on one second. Okay. So if you look closely here, oh, this light is just not great. So here we go. So these are the energy forces. The stone is being, of course, metaphor of the body. But this is the energy of the spirit, the soul. And what's been going on inside is now showing itself externally. This is the forest. So we have a clearing, we have some space, we have a basis to start expanding that energy. Stones is representative of earth, so that's why we have this the stone structure here. The stability of the stone is a place of stillness, to have a focused starting point to create and to release one's intentions. But it's always important to remain rooted. Okay, if you see here, There we go. It's somewhat deep, not, well, I don't know how deep the stone is, but it's set. You can see it's going a little bit below the foundation of the earth. And so it has some stability in placing the energy that you need to get to your intention. So there's no movement going around. Everything is still. And like I said, you have some clearing around the area here. So you have the space to move and to expand from. And so with Pisces, Pisces is a mutable sign. So it kind of goes with the flow of things. Now, the Ace of Stones is nowhere near related to the energy of Pisces, but it is the beginning. Okay, it is the formation of thoughts and putting these ideas that we have and investing into ourselves and putting them out into reality. And showing people externally what has been happening. These are the steps, these energy forces that you see here, that's moving towards the outcome of what we want to reach. So with March, we're looking at seeking knowledge for the better understanding, connecting to our universal self, conscious self or subconscious self. That's related to the neophyte. We have spiritual fulfillment from the Three of Bows. Okay. We've already released that energy. Now we take a moment to see what's going to happen, what's going to potentially come back to us. It's that inner focus again and balance, putting that kind of energy out there for the final outcome. And then the Ace of Stones, being rooted and steadfast with your intentions and remaining dedicated towards the end result. So there you have it. That is the Wheel of the Year reading for January for Capricorn. I have a lot of notes here. And just to kind of reflect very briefly, we're looking at the soul energy being cleansed. Kingfisher, the soul energy for cleansing is represented by the broom. Personal discernment in situations for the Kingfisher. Healing and rejuvenating the emotions at that time in January is what the focus will be. Okay, so this is related. The healing, rejuvenating, Ace of Vessels, the discernment, getting to the root, the core of things, with the Kingfisher, the King of Arrows. And then we got the broomstick here for cleansing. February, the crystal ball, insight, inner wisdom, but listening, revealing our own potential through clear insight, no distractions. The ancestor reversed, okay? The reversal of this is fear, uncertainty, and trusting our guides, whether it's an actual ancestor god or goddess that you have, or just trusting yourself. We have to face this. We have to get past this. And this applies every time we're in a situation, there's something that we question about it. And that comes also from the influence of our instincts but we have to find trust in that. But the power card I feel for the month of February is just this card of the Archer. Taking action, direct focus, having that confidence and willpower, knowing that possibilities are there to get to where you want to be. And then March, okay, we become the seeker, getting closer to understanding ourselves. If you are moving in this kind of direction with your practice, representing the month of Pisces. And this could be, the neophyte can also be perfect for Pisces energy because we are doing some subconscious work, deep revealing and deep diving into ourselves. And our Three of Bows here. Feeling that fulfillment of the self through security, willpower, confidence. But letting it go. Okay, when you shoot an arrow, you can't really control it. Once you shoot it, it's gone. Let it go. Don't keep shooting arrows. Don't keep putting more energy out there. That's why it's very important to remain focused on the path that you want to go to, how you're doing it, how strategically you want to get there. And then, of course, the Ace of Stones, which gives us the steadfastness with our intentions, but remaining grounded, remaining still, having that environment where you can clearly start moving towards releasing, revealing your efforts to get to your intention. Alrighty, so there's a lot of work for January, February, and March, but that's all wonderful. That's all good. It's needed through the process, and I think these cards here for the first 3 months of our new year, and also for the Wheel of the Year season representing winter and Yule is important. So I will timestamp these so you can go to each month and see what readings came for each month. I have the blog version of this on my website. All the information is in the description. So if you want to read a little bit of what I've been describing this video, you could go to the website there. You give me some feedback. I greatly appreciate that. Any questions you have, of course, let me know. So I also have my Intro to Tarot Astrology course. It's going to be, enrollment's going to start on Monday, December 27th, and the date for these courses will take place sometime in mid-January. So there's about 2.5 weeks left before I start those courses. But I want to get some interest in. I like to get at least 4 people in the course. If I get less than 4, we'll work something out, because I am very excited about sharing the relationships of the astrological signs, planets, and also the houses. When it comes to the major arcana, that'll be the first part of this Intro to Tarot Astrology. And then the second part will be the minor arcana, where we focus more on the decans and the planets and the suits that are influenced with each decan for each astrological month. So I have that information there also in the description. Stay tuned, because I am going to be releasing quite a few videos in the next few days for the month of Capricorn. I'm going to do a video discussing the energy of Capricorn, the tarot cards of influence, the planet of influence, as I mentioned, Saturn, for those cards or for that sign. So that will be one video, and then I'm going to do my readings for the month of Capricorn. So I got a lot of work ahead of me, but I want to take advantage of this time. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you've gotten this far, any questions, of course, let me know. And the next reading that I will be doing will be for Imbolc. So it'll be February 1st. It'll be a shorter reading, and I will probably reflect back on the reading here, especially for February, with the insight and the Archer card and the Ancestor card reverse. We could see what's going on with some cards that I pull for that month of, or for the season of Imbolc, for the Sabbath of Imbolc, and see how those readings come in relation to this. Alrighty. Have a wonderful evening. Happy holidays, everyone. And I will be seeing you soon.